Welcome to Sunday. It is extremely late, 5:51 p.m. For me it is, in the evening. It is July the 17th. And today I am going to first and foremost share an astral projection experience with you. Something that I don't experience a whole lot of since I began really kind of doing the beyond body / shifting thing. That has been my primary focus, but the astral projection experiences do still come, and I'm going to hopefully use this as a way to again talk about being able to shift literally between astral projection and reality shifting. But first, let me talk to you about the experience. And as I talk to you about this experience, I'm hoping that you're going to see one of the big differences I see between astral projection and reality shifting, because I've been asked that question before. I've talked about it before, but experience, when you have an experience, it's the best way to display what it is that you're trying to get across to people by the experience itself. Instead of just saying, this is what I believe, you show through an experience, hey, this is what happened to me. So this is why I believe the way I believe. So in this latest AP experience, this was 3-4 days ago, very, very short experience. I wish I could have just shared it with you guys the moment after it happened, but my week was fairly busy with finishing up my podcast and things like that, so I just did not have the opportunity to do it. But on that particular day, what was very interesting was, first, it was very, very, very close to me getting ready for work. I mean, really, really close. So I was just resting because I was tired, I was just laying down in bed and I was kind of tired. And trust me, again, I'm going to stress this thing that I stress over and over again for those of you who are struggling with astral projection. I did not necessarily think I was going to astral project in that moment. That was not something I was consciously thinking about in that moment. I was just resting. That's it. Just resting. And I even had National Public Radio, NPR, on in the background. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So I was lying there, and at some point, I felt that in-between state. Now I'm going to take you back there for those of you who are wondering, because again, I get a lot of questions like, well, what does it feel like when you get to that point? And once you get to that stage, how do you go out, right? How do you leave your body from that, what they call vibrational stage, or perhaps they say sleep paralysis, which is a word I don't really like. I don't really like to use the word sleep paralysis because I think it scares people who are just coming in and looking at this. And for me, I don't see it that way. I don't see it as a sort of paralysis. Perhaps your body is at that point still, but your mind is your body in that moment. And your mind, like your body, can move, but it can do a lot more and go to a lot more places. So all that's happening in that moment is that you're switching from your body to your spirit being, and your mind is able to think, go here, go there, instead of you actually having to walk to do it. Now, in this instance, once I got to that point, again, this is a very natural thing to me. Like, I know when I get to the point of being able to separate from my body. Now, many of you perhaps are thinking at this point, well, could you have shifted at this point? Could you have shifted to another reality? Yes, I believe it's possible. For whatever reason, I chose on an unconscious level to astral project, and that happens sometimes. But I believe, guys, that you could do both. That on some level, perhaps you're choosing on an unconscious level to either astral project or shift, or you can consciously choose to do either. Now, I, on some level, chose to astral project, and I felt that moment. I felt that moment when I could turn out of my body. Now, again, I want to stress to you, all of you who are asking, but how do you know to do it? How do you know to it? When you reach that point, it is instinctive. That's the only thing I can really tell you. And you'll know when you reach that point because it's a different feeling than you've ever felt if it's the first time. You'll be like, wow, what's this? It'll be a completely different feeling being in that in-between state. So I rolled out of my body, and it was a bit of a chore to do it. And by the way, I wanted to also include this. When I got out, I got to tell you guys, I was like a newbie out there because it's been so long since I've actually, kind of hung out. I mean, it does, like I say, I astral project, but I don't astral project as consistently as I used to. And I remember I came out and I was near a dresser that I haven't, the number one, astral blindness. Now, this is something that I haven't had to deal with in so many years. Normally, I just say, I want to see, or I open my eyes within my eyelids, but I was out of practice, guys. Out of practice. And I was sitting there struggling to actually see. And at one point, I was thinking to myself, well, again, this is something that new folks usually go to. Well, if I open my eyes, I think my physical eyes are going to open. So the lesson here is that even if you're astral projecting on a regular basis, you should always practice these skills. You should always keep up on your skills, because I gotta tell you, I was rusty. I was rusty out there. The first thing I did was I jumped up and down. Okay. And it's something that I do. I know people have these different things that they do to test where they are and what they're doing. And you can read about those things on the subreddit. People have their different tests that they do. For me, the test is when I jump up into the air, how high do I jump, and can I float and come down really slowly, as if there's like very little or almost no gravity at all. Now, the difference is if I had reality shifted, I would do that, but then I'd come right back to my feet as if I'm in a body. That's what it would feel like. But in AP, in astral projection, you jump up into the air. When I did this, I float for a while and I came down really slowly. I did it again. I was like, okay. All right, this is definitely astral projection, even though I'm having some difficulty seeing. Again, this is something that I will stress. Keep up with your skills, your AP skills, being able to see those types of things, flying, all that stuff. These are skill sets. And, when you're out there, I think, you should get out there and do these things on a regular basis. So once I established that I was astral projecting, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try something real quick. I just thought, I want to be in the ocean. A split second later, guys, I felt myself surging downward. And again, I wasn't seeing, I was feeling all this, but I knew it was the ocean because I knew I could hear the sounds of the ocean. That was number one. Number two, I could feel the coolness of the ocean as well as I was surging downward. It was an amazing, amazing feeling, guys. Now, I know there are people that are thinking, well, should you have been able to feel the coolness of the water? Now I could feel it. But the difference would have been this. So if you're wondering what the difference, if I would have dove into the water as someone who had reality shifted, as opposed to diving into the water or going into the water, shifting immediately into the water with my astral body, I would have, like a body, I would have probably felt a very cool sensation, like cold, almost shivering for just a moment until my body or whatever it is, that vessel that I was using, got accustomed to it. It would feel a lot more like I had a body, in other words. With my spirit being, I sensed the coolness. I could sense it, but it wasn't necessarily affecting or impacting me at all. I knew it was there. I could feel that coolness there, but it wasn't having an impact on me. Now, it was, again, a very interesting thing. I know to some, maybe it might sound simple to be just surging downward into an ocean, but it was just an amazing, amazing feeling, guys. It really was. And then in an instant, I was back, and I was standing near my dresser, still in my astral body. Now, again, I had this sense the minutes are ticking away and I'm going to have to go to work. But I kind of wanted to do a place where there was unconditional love. I love to do those types of places because they're always quite amazing. So again, and I've talked about this before, when I go into the void state, I stretch my arms out at their side as far as I can, and then I fall backwards. And there's something to that as well. There's something to doing that. I'm not sure why I do it, because it's just something that has been instinctive since the first time I went into the void. But as soon as I thought that, I just did this automatically. I stretched my arms out and I was falling, but I did not go to the void. In fact, I opened my eyes shortly after that. And that was simply, again, because I think I was pressed for time. So I wasn't able to really get there with that. But the ability to be able to change, to switch from astral projection, your astral body, to reality shifting, it is something that is still ongoing with me. But because I had the kind of experience I just had with astral projection, and I've had those experiences before, it does convince me that one should be able to effortlessly go from one form to the next, because it is simply frequency. And it may be as simple as just thinking it when you're in that state. When you're astral projecting, you think, I want to reality shift, and this is where I want to reality shift to. When you are reality shifting, you think, I want to astral project, and this is where I want to go. I want to astral project to this particular place. Now, your frequency might also have to do with your destination, and this is something that my mom and I were speaking about. So let's say, for example, you want to go to the moon. This is a destination that people have talked about. I swear, I don't know if I can quite understand why someone would want to go to the moon. I've been to and experienced a moon before, where I was around a young man who was in a farming kind of community, but it wasn't, I don't believe I was on our moon at all. I think I was on a moon somewhere in some distant place, some other galaxy or different reality or something. But let's say you wanted to go to the moon, right? So that's where you target your destination. So your intent before you shut your eyes is, I want to go to the moon. You shut your eyes, and eventually you astral project. You leave your body. Now, why is it that you astral projected instead of reality shifted, instead of doing the reality shift thing? Well, because you wanted to fly to the moon. So when you thought about that, your frequency automatically switched to being able to do astral projection, because that would be the best way to do it. It would be like going on to a freeway on-ramp. What would be the best way to go from whatever city you're in that moment to the other city? What freeway would be the best way to do it? Now, if I wanted to, for example, go to a Harry Potter type universe, that was what my DR or my desired reality was in that moment, then I would automatically change to a frequency where I could reality shift. Again, because that's how you would want to reach that destination, not necessarily through astral projection. So what I'm saying is that your desire, what it is that you want to do, can also have an impact on your frequency. And that is more of an automatic kind of thing. But the question is, can one switch midstream? So once you're in that wizarding universe, can you then, as you're walking around with your wand, say, I want to be in an astral projection body at this point, switch to the astral projection body, and then perhaps even switch back? This is still the question, and something that I am still working on, guys. I will keep you, informed on this. Thank you so much for coming on this latest journey with me. And until next time, take care.